Hello, my Blockhead beauties. It's your girl, that Wahlburgers chick, coming to you with another episode of A Day in the Life of a Blockhead. Now, today, my Blockhead is Jen, and she's from Colorado. Say hi, Jen.
Hi.
Yay. So, I'm going to bring you back a little bit to your adolescent years, and I want to know, when was it that you fell in love with New Kids, and what was the song that did it for you?
Well, I think it was about six, and it probably had to be, I can't remember the exact song. It was either probably The Right Stuff or Step by Step. I remember being a kid, like little kid, and my grandma, we had just moved to Florida. My grandma at the time moved with us, and she had the big old bedroom, this big, huge bed. I used to go in there and turn on New Kids on our TV and jump on her bed and listen to them. I like clearly remember that. I was little, had all the blood. I remember having the bed sheets and watching the cartoon on Saturday mornings.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am on, like, I'd say I was on the younger end of their fandom back then, because I was born in 84, so it'd only been, six in 1990 and about 10 when they took their break.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved them. I was a Joey girl when I was little.
Yeah. So then,
Only know because my mom and them remember, and they have pictures of me with all the Joey dolls. They would get me those, and so probably because he was the youngest, and
yeah.
um, but yeah. So I remember just like vividly jumping on my grandma's bed because she'd be out working, and she would have kicked my butt if she would have known I was doing that. So
Well, but then being so young, how were you influenced? Like, who influenced you to like New Kids?
my mom loves music. We always back then we drove around, listened to the radio a lot. And so I think I they were just on. I think my aunt as well. She was a little younger and she liked them. And she also liked that was like back in the Milli Vanilli days and all them. And she liked all of them. And so she would play them when she'd babysit me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can't exactly remember, but I'm thinking it's probably between my aunt and mom because of their love for music.
Okay.
They're not like blockheads like me or anything, but they love music. So
So then, were your walls plastered with like Joey and New Kids and everything?
well, back then I had as much as I could. My mom kind of decorated my room, but yeah, I remember I had the bed sheets. My mom was telling me, she's like, I wish I would have saved all that, but we moved. I moved. My mom and stepdad lived in Florida, and my dad and stepmom lived in Colorado, so I went back and forth to for visiting. So it was hard. Ended up moving out here eventually. So I lost a lot of my stuff, but she said I had all the sheets, and she had a couple posters on my wall, but yeah, for me. But she had decorated my room, and I remember listening to their tapes, having a little boom. I had a little headphones and the tape player, and I would sit in my room. So
Okay.
yeah.
So then, being that you had the Joey dolls, you gotta tell me, girl, did you like put him out and pretend he was singing to you like a concert
Oh,
room?
oh yeah, I would him and with the and then I would play with the dolls with the Barbies, and they'd all party, hanging out together and jumping around. Like I kind of remember like the Barbies would be the ones dancing. And I'd say because I think I had all the dolls, but like specifically Joey's the one they took pictures of me with because probably I was a Joey girl just to like show, and I'd set them up and like the Barbies would dance to the
Yeah,
music
yeah.
while the guys performed. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like a vivid imaginations when we were younger because I would put the New Kids and the plushies and everything I had, and we was having a concert
Oh
because
yeah.
I was too young to go. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So on I think it was my it's a story. It was like my ninth birthday. I can't remember, it was ninth or 10th. And my aunt came home, and my other aunt, she came to over to our house, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I tried so hard to get you tickets, but they're sold out. And it wasn't shortly after that they took their break, but she had told me she had tried. And now I thought about Messenger because it's actually and being like, were you telling the truth? Did you really try? Because I didn't have any control back then of
yeah,
and um I mean, New Kids is a clean music. So taking a little kid anytime when back then and now a younger kid to their concert, it's fine. It's not, they don't cuss, they don't, so I could see them trying to do that.
yeah, yeah. And so, but that was gonna be my next question: if you actually did get to see them in concert back then.
No, I did
No.
not.
Okay. So then now moving forward a little bit,
Mhm.
in the 90s, you were still young, but they did break up in 94. Did that affect you in any way?
Oh, I was sad. I was sad. Um, because I it was my first, I loved, I love listening to their music, but I continued to listen to it as I got older, and then, um, but I wouldn't say it like overly affected me where I was like super sad or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, because you were still young and stuff. And then most of us went on to either switch genres or had like babies and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so once New Kids was gone from your life, what did you do?
I was a huge Backstreet Boy fan in middle and high school. I had my walls flat. I had by that time I'd moved to Colorado with my dad and stepmom to live here during the school year, and then I'd visit my mom. And my dad is like, here's your room, do whatever, and I changed it. But I had top to bottom, yeah, Backstreet Boys. I was older, middle and high school. I love them too. I went to their concert last year, but I don't follow them the way I do New Kids. There's a different interaction with fans, but their
Yeah,
music's great, great,
yeah,
So yeah, Backstreet Boys. I liked NSYNC. It was like that right, back to
yeah,
either Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. I was Backstreet Boys. Still liked NSYNC, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, there's only room in my heart for one boy band, but I did like
yeah,
both of them. I actually did like both of them back
yeah, yeah,
and in sync, so it was cool. But
yeah.
okay, so then in 99 though, Jordan and your man's Joey, and I believe Danny as well, they came out with solo albums. Where were you when you heard that Joey had his single out?
Honestly, I was in high school then, 99. I don't remember. I have I couldn't, I blurry memory from that, you know.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, but I do remember listening to some of the songs, but it wasn't like avidly that I remember. Yeah,
right, right. So it's safe
yeah.
to say that you didn't see him on solo tour or anything like that.
No, no,
Okay,
not
okay,
back then.
all right. However, though, 2008 came
Mhm.
and New Kids had this huge announcement. We were all anticipating, waiting, what, almost 15 years
Yeah,
for them to say what we wanted them to say. And then they did. Where were you when you heard about that?
I was at the time living in Virginia, and backstory, that's where I was born. A lot of my family's there. I moved back there after high school with my grandma, and I was in the middle of starting my divorce. I was married when I was 23 for a short amount of time, and so I remember hearing that and being excited, and especially in a time in my life it was tough. So, and I remember watching them on the Today Show. Briefly, my memory's not always the best. There's certain periods of my life that it's like I can't totally
Mhm.
remember.
Well, the good thing that I like to showcase on this show is this fandom, right? And
Mhm.
so New Kids have helped us through our darkest times when
Mhm.
we're
Mhm.
down. Is
Mhm.
that the same for you?
I remember, listening and being excited. I love music in general, like everything. So, and specifically, let's see, 2009. So I got married. 2009. I listened to him a lot. Once the divorce was finalized and I was moving on with my life, and I had met somebody new by then, um, you know, and and then going back and also enjoying their music from when we were kids and
Mm,
dancing to it. And, music in general has helped me get through a lot. And New Kids is one of the bigger ones.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I became a DJ because I love music. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So
Yeah.
then, have you made any like real connections with other blockheads? Like explain to the world what a blockhead is and what it means to you.
Well, Blockhead is someone to me who loves New Kids and and enjoys being in their presence along with their sister and brother Blockheads. I have made some really good friends through because of them, that I talk to every day, and that we go on the we on the cruise. We hang. One of them lives in Colorado, so we see each other, and then I've made more friends because of that. And it's just an understanding, like it's not like, this band is not like any other when it comes to their fandom. They're connected, and they make you feel like they truly do care. They don't make you feel, they truly do care about us.
Right.
And that makes us a Blockhead. Like, we care about them, they care about us. We're willing to fly out to see them, or go here, or we always catch if they're doing something live, everybody's there on time
Mhm.
together, chatting in the group or whatnot. So
So what makes this fandom any different from the other ones?
I feel like they were bringing it, they work to bring people together. Like, that's why they do things like the cruises or random shows like the Fenway show or smaller, and they know that it brings people together. And with not, because they can't give us all, each individually, all their time, but brings us together, and brings people closer, and just have, a lot of moms get to get away from their kids for a few days, and just the world, they understand it, that we now as adults need to get away sometimes, and they get it, and they bring that to us, and they love seeing all the friendships that are formed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun, and it kind of brings you back to your childhood,
Yeah.
like the childlike state. And they say, like, I'm very like about self growth and everything. They say going back to a childlike state is a very positive thing, because when we're children, we're happy and free, and we're not so worried about the adult things of everyday life. And so the fandom kind of brings you back to that place of just being like a kid, and enjoying life, and just in the moment right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so since 2008, before we get to the cruise, have
Mhm.
you seen them in concert?
Mm.
So you've never been to a New Kids concert?
Oh, I have. Yes, I've been to three before 2008. No.
No, no,
So
no.
my
I said since
since
2000.
2008. Sorry. Yes, I have. So 2017. And I'm bad at like remembering which concert, the names. That's not how, says 2017 was my first one at the Pepsi Center in Denver, or the Ball Arena, or whatever it's called now. And a group of my girlfriends, they found tickets. There's like five of us. It was up higher in nosebleeds. We went. I was so excited. I remember Boys to Men was up in 2017 with them. And some my so I remember crying when Boys and Men was singing, because my ex-boyfriend, who I dated for a few years in between my ex-husband and my husband now, he passed away in a tragic car accident. And when we split up, it was not because I disliked him or anything. It was, we just grew apart. So I still had a lot of care in my heart. And I was really, really still really sad about the loss of his life. So, and I remember being sad when, Boys Men sang a song thinking about him, but then New Kids came out, and I was like, woohoo, yeah, right back to that. And then we ended up somehow, I went to get something to drink, and someone was leaving, just random fan, and was like, here, go to my seats, and they were way closer. So I
Yeah,
moved down. Yeah.
yeah. That's a
Yeah.
thing we do too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I went again in 2019, and another friend here in Colorado, Leanna, she had called me like the day before, and was like, hey, I upgraded a bar stool, would you want my tickets? There in the eighth row. I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. And see, I met her, I didn't meet her through like at concerts. I met her because her husband played football with my husband, and I was wearing a New Kids shirt at a barbecue we had one day, and she walked up to me, and she's like, you like the New Kids? And I was like, oh yeah, I love them. She's like, me too, I'm a Blockhead. And we just got to talking, it's this random football family. And, since then we've stayed in touch, and she gave me those tickets. And then I met right before the show, I connected with my friend Robin, who I went on the cruise with, via a New Kids page. Um,
Nice. Okay.
yeah. And then I went to the concert this year. My husband, and we took my daughter. It was her very first concert. She's 8. And my husband got a second row tickets right by the stage. And it was pretty cool to experience that with my husband. He enjoys their music. He enjoys 80s music. But to take my daughter to her
Mhm.
first concert and be New Kids is a experience that I'm excited that I was able to do for her, because I couldn't do that when I was her age, because you couldn't get tickets back then.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now it's still hard, but it's a little easier. Plus, we're paying for it now. So
yeah. Well, now we
yeah.
have our own money, so we're gonna.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. See, but so tell us about like your first concert experience. Since you didn't get to see them as a child, did you usually we have a
I
ritual?
I was in awe. I remember, I know I teared up because I was just so grateful to be there and be experienced like all of this, thinking back to my childhood. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm finally getting to see new kids like all these years. I mean, well, let's see, 20, what year are we in 2023? So I had to be like early 30s or whatnot. Um, that's a long time, to go of loving a group and finally getting to see them. And so I just remember just being in, I was just so grateful to be there and just in awe that it was happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very emotional experience, I'm
It
sure.
was. It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
And did you have a certain ritual? Because a lot of us, we're gonna go out and we're gonna find the old buttons or the old T-shirts, and we're gonna dress up. Like, did you do any of that?
No, I remember it was the summer, so it was hot.
Mm.
And I remember getting ready and I just really want I had got I had my new kid shirt. I think I got them at Target. They were like they have the cut off ones. A lot of people had them. It was the old school. And I was wearing that, but no, I didn't get out. I didn't other than that.
Okay. And then did you do anything after the show? Because if you go somewhere in the West, I guess you'll go to a Waffle House and or a Walgreens.
No, this in 2017, that group of girlfriends, they're not really blockheads. They're fans. And so we end up someone picked us up. So I didn't know about a lot of that, the ins and outs. I started learning more about that after that show, about how they go to the Waffle House and whatnot, and following more social media pages and becoming friends with more people where I was learning more of the stuff you just don't catch unless you're in, the social media kind of
Yeah.
places. Yeah.
Okay. So then now leading up to the cruise, when you
Mhm.
found out that New Kids were doing cruises, were you excited and what did you do to get there?
I thought that was a really cool thing. And I remember before the 2019 show, I had connected with my friend Robin and we were messaging. She was like, would you want to go on the cruise? And I was like, yes, that sounds fun. And I didn't know fully. And she's between then and 2023 explained. So I had booked with them to go in 2020, her and my friend Shannon, who lives in Florida, who was the other cabin mate. And I was the third person and we started talking and we booked for 2020 and it was actually going to be like the weekend of my birthday in April. I was so excited. I was like, okay, and I didn't, it was a lot, Robin had been on cruises, Shannon had been on cruises. So they were explaining to me like there's theme nights, there's, all the different stuff. It's not, they don't perform every day. It's like literally them hanging out with you, they'll be out on Lido decks, dancing, singing, partying. They will do game shows. And she was sending me some videos so I could kind of see what happened from YouTube that other people had taken on the past cruises. And so I had 3 years of waiting, even though I was supposed to go in 2020. So
Yeah.
that's how I got into the cruise. And then when 2020, when they had to postpone, I was like, keep my money. I understood why they sent it back to everybody. I was like, I'm going on this cruise when it happens. I will be there. So you can get, and me and Robin and Shannon, we just waited it out till they reannounced and for 2022. Yeah,
Yeah.
to last year. We were ready to go. And so I had a couple of years before that to really like talk about. I asked every question I asked, they had an answer for. So I went very prepared because I did go with two past time. They had been, I think that this cruise was their fourth cruise for both of them. So they were very seasoned cruisers.
So as a newbie, what was your expectations?
Oh gosh, I tried to go with none. A lot of people said, I did I I go with none, but I had expectations. I didn't know about the photo. I didn't know how I'd be because I get a little bit nervous. That's kind of calming down now that I've seen them and been around them a little more. So I was like, okay, don't act, don't say anything. I was
Don't
really
pretend
hoping
they're
that
safe.
I know. I was really hoping Jenny would be there because I love Jenny. I love her. But she couldn't obviously make it. But that's okay. Maybe another cruise she'll be there. But my expectation was just it blew my mind. I guess I didn't realize that we would get that much interaction with them, and that I also didn't realize like how they're, well, I know they're like normal people, but I was like, man, they party like me and my husband do. This is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I can't
Yeah.
keep up with Donnie though. I don't know. I don't know. He's a robot, but
Oh man. I was like, give me some of that energy. Like, how do you
yeah,
do this? But yeah.
yeah, yeah. So then, the food was great, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The
For those that never been on the cruise, explain every emotion that was going through your
oh,
body.
I cried happy tears every day, if not multiple, because I was so overwhelmed with just pure excitement, gratitude to be there. Um, and not just gratitude to be there with new kids, but gratitude for myself for getting to a place where I can do these things because I do before my husband and me, we both kind of had in our 20s a little bit like, you know, we'll just say like we both like to have a good time and whatnot. And so we and didn't get to do these type of things. Like I couldn't afford it back in my 20s, you know. And met my husband and we built this great life together. We have a business, kids, it's awesome. And I just sat and like I on the second morning, so well, the first full mornings, first full day, I got up before like anyone was really up and went out and was just like looking at the cruise ship and walked around, kind of like meditated, took it in because it is a lot when you first, you know, I can get sometimes overwhelmed with a lot of people. Sometimes like it's a lot of energy. So I'm like, I just need a minute,
Mhm.
you know, to woosah and then get back to it. And so I did that and I just stood there like in just awe and just gratitude to be that in that place. Experiencing something that with a group that I've loved since I was children with just so many great people. And it's like no other. It's not like it's not a normal cruise. You're
Yeah.
you know, it's not, you know, um so that the emotions I was just happy and joyful and grateful. There I would say overwhelmed the first night just because I did not realize that they would. I was like, oh, they do like to party. And I can too. I was just, you know, I was like, oh wow, okay, this is how it's gonna be. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did you prepare for the theme nights? Did you dress up?
Oh yeah. My Robin, me and Shannon, we kind of tried to coordinate a little bit on for Halloween and we talked and we showed each other our outfits because I wanted to make sure, you know, I wanted to make sure I was like doing it right. I don't know if there's a right way to do it, but I wanted to be a participant and I don't like doing Halloween. I rarely dress up. It's not really my thing. I loved it and I can't wait. It made me actually dress up for Halloween when we got back because I enjoyed it so much and I had a good time of picking out like my 80s outfit and trying everything on. I tried them on like 3 different times, you know. Um, my only outfit I didn't end up wearing because just the night of was my GPS one. I had gotten this Denver Broncos dress, and when I put it on that night, I was like, no. So I was like, you know what? It's all good. And I wore, ended up switching into like a t-shirt that had my, I'm not from North Carolina, but I'm a huge Duke fan, diehard Duke fan as well. And I was like, I haven't represented Duke while I've been on this cruise. I'm going to do it tonight on GPS. So since my dress just wasn't feeling it for
Oh,
me.
they're feeling it? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But then what you gotta tell us about the costume, the Halloween.
Okay,
I
so
love
80s
it.
night, I did the like 80s punk rock girl with the pink skirt and the gloves. I think I got it on Amazon. I saw many others with kind of the same thing, and I was like, this is awesome. For Halloween night, we were all M&Ms. I was a blue one, my favorite
I
color, and then
noticed that.
yes, and now and then I saw some great ideas, and I'm like, okay, for the next cruise, now I'm already like swirling in my mind like these big ideas. And my mom, she's super creative. And I was talking to her about it, and she's already too, she doesn't want to go on the cruise, but she's already like, oh, if they had this kind of night, you could do this, and you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a great idea. Um,
It's one of my favorite parts of the cruises is seeing everybody and what they're wearing and what they come up
Yes.
with.
And before, this is a big thing. This is what I tell like to tell people is before I went, I tried to find a pair of shoes that I knew was gonna I knew we were gonna be on our feet a lot. And I knew I needed to make sure my feet were comfortable because I have plantar fasciitis and it's not flared up in almost a year and a half. So I wasn't trying to flare it up. And so I went shopping specifically for shoes that could go with pretty much all my outfits, but were comfortable. Even though I ended up bringing extra shoes that I didn't even wear. So
Yeah.
I say tell people like when you're planning your theme outfits, make sure your shoes are comfortable and you know, so that you're not dragging 5 pairs of shoes in a suitcase on the cruise. try to
Mhm.
find one or two that would go with everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it was definitely my feet were screaming the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then stepping that first step
Oh,
from the boat.
I I just, how do you explain that feeling? I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like that. Oh, yeah, I'm about to explode with just, joy, but I'm trying to like keep it real at the same time because I got to go to this muster station and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm following Robin and Shannon and we all have all these bags. So I'm trying to help them as well with their bags get on. And, we were one of the first to get on the ship, so it wasn't fully crowded yet. And then I had been on one other cruise when for my 21st birthday. My parents took me on a just regular cruise out of New Orleans. So it had been a long time since it had been on a cruise ship, so that was cool too to be back and see just the ship itself. And then as looking around and seeing everyone in their shirts, at this point it's the first day, a lot of their Selway shirts, the Jordans and the Johns and the Joeys and the new kids, like a lot of people with their shirts they made themselves or bought off another fan. This is awesome. Everybody's here for the same thing. Like we all this love. And I had gotten shirts made by Sharon. I got one that said first time cruiser, and then had bought Robin and Shannon fourth time cruiser. They all matched,
Mhm.
and for our sail away shirts. So I was wearing that because Robin said like we may not get to our suitcases. Bring what you need in your carry on. You may not see your suitcases until later tonight, depending on when they get to our room. I was
Yeah.
very prepared. So grateful for Robin and Shannon because they really did help me be prepared. A lot of stuff I would have never known, and people forget to tell you. Like I probably would have never brought the stuff I needed, not even knowing that I not seen my suitcases for a few hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And it's overwhelming, right? Because when you first of all, when you first set your foot on the cruise and you get
Mhm.
to the door to go in, they already start shoving drinks.
Oh yeah, and I like to drink. Well, I'm laughing at that. I like to have a good time when it's time to. I'm a very responsible person, and this was my time. And I was like, "Hand me the pina coladas,"
Yeah.
and immediately bought the glass cup, the new kids cruise cup, and grabbed a drink, and we sat down to get some food. And it was cool to go look at all the food they had. So many choices. I'm a foodie. I love food. I was like, this is awesome. They have like, what do I want? Okay, I want this, but I want this. I'll just get it all.
You can. Yeah, when you're on a
You
cruise, you
can.
can
There's
get
no,
as much as
there's
you
no
want.
limit.
Yeah, yeah,
Just go
yeah.
get some of this and walk over here and get some of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The
Oh,
only thing I didn't have though is funny is the the burger place. I think the line was always long, and I'm one of those who I'll evaluate my time. I'm like, I don't feel like spending my time on waiting in that line. It's not worth it to me. It's that
but
over there. Yeah.
yeah, that'll work. Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. And the other cool thing is all the decorations, the elevator.
Oh my gosh.
Tell everybody.
So yes, of course, Robin and Shannon, they were like, we gotta decorate our door. We were talking about it leading up, and I kind of put that in like Robin's hands and Shannon's hands because they knew they've been there before. And so I was like, I will go along with whatever. Tell me what to buy. Tell me what to do. I'll be, show up. So Robin had this old shower curtain, and I think she's used it before of all the guys, and she's cut it up. And so we used those, and then we made little signs that said stuff like they were saying different words, like, I love you, different stuff like hung around. And then we had like cute little decorations from, the party store hanging around. So that was so fun because me and Shannon, we were decorating. Robin ran to get something on another level, and we were just cracking up because just the way like I was sitting on the floor in the middle of this hallway, people were walking by, we're like, hi, and they're just like, oh, I love it. He's just like sitting in the middle of the floor of this hallway trying to like get stuff taped on, and
Mhm.
we're just cracking up and having a good time making jokes and saying hi to all the people as you're decorating, walking by and stopping and start talking, and then as you're walking places stopping to look at the doors. I loved see, I wish I would have got to do all the levels, but it takes a while to do that. Maybe next cruise I'll get up early one day and just cruise the halls, but I definitely loved
Yeah.
it.
I mean, people go hard, right?
Oh, oh, I
Like,
have so many ideas for the next because of I'm like, oh, and then like the gifts that a lot of people will bring gifts to hand out, like the rubber bands and which Robin had already told me about. And so we made little bags, and she had ordered bracelets, and I had gotten candy, and we had glow sticks, and it was so cool because we're handing them, and I came back with like a whole thing of, I mean, I had bracelets up both arms, and I love that we is this what other nobody does no other fit no other group does that. It's we're giving each other gifts, and they're all new kids related,
Yeah.
and spending our money and our time to either make them, order them, wrap them up, go around and hand them out. And so I loved that. And so I already, next cruise, I already have some of my gifts that I've collected that I'm going to be handing for the next cruise to give out. One of the things. So yeah.
What's cool is that as soon as I mentioned that, your face lit up. It lit
Yes.
up. And that's what, and I love that, because that's what I'm trying to, have come across about this fandom, is that we are like family, and
We
we
are.
will help each other through
Yeah.
thick and thin. We will send gifts. We were our captain. What did he say? Spread love, and love will spread. And we live
Yeah.
by
I live by that. And before I new kid before going on the cruise and stuff, that's kind of my motto, is just like spread love and just be grateful for life. And the cool thing is, Robin and Shannon, leading up to that cruise, I had met Robin. She came to she lives in Boulder, which is about 30 minutes from where I live, and we had hung out, but I had never met Shannon in person, but I knew from almost 3 years, 2.5 3 years of just talking to almost every day through an app, that I was like, I know me and her are going to be very close. I could just, we already are without even meeting in person. I knew we were going to get along. Obviously, I knew I got along with Robin, and our little threesome, we just had the best time. Like, we just and these were sisters that on our bad days, we were already sharing, and on our good days, we were sharing with each other. So we were there for each other, and then since then I've met even more friends in that way, that we talk and we're there for each other, and the good and the bad, outside of new kid stuff or just regular life stuff.
right. So then
Yeah.
now, you survived the cruise. Bravo.
Hmm.
Welcome, welcome. And you had a good time on the cruise.
Oh, I the best. My experience was a little bit different than a lot of people's first experience. So Robin and Shannon are in the ADA section, and I had met you there because I think you were there as with your friend as well, and we had met there. And so I was a little closer. We were in the very front row in the stage. Donnie held my hand while I was singing. Oh my gosh, that was like, I was like crying after that. And so I am super grateful. I did get that experience where I was like, they were just like right there. Our pictures, we were the first picture they took with the group photos. I don't know if I would want to be the first. Everybody was a little bit hungover.
Yeah, yeah.
So next time I want to I don't want to wait forever either. But yeah, we were the first. So it was really cool. And I got to stand next to Danny and Jordan. And Danny, by the way, I met him he was my very first new kid selfie. And I let him know that at the pop-up shop.
Yeah.
And we went to that, and I was like, you're my first new kid selfie. I was so excited. I kind of I should have given him the phone, because you could tell my hand was shaking a little bit when I took it, but luckily I was able to get a few other selfies on the actual cruise with him that came out way better. But yeah, he was my first. And so when I went into the photo op, I was like, okay, where do I stand? What do I do? Because it was a little different with our group. And he's like, here, come stand next to me. And I was like, okay. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh my God.
And
So
I don't, that's why I say go with no expectations, because you just never know what's going to happen, that interaction.
And then did you get a selfie with all of them?
No, I didn't. I got with a couple with Danny, because he was coming around at night down in the section, down in the front. I think he went around the boat too and was taking them. And you just kind of grab your phone and take them. And then Donnie, I got a few with him, but none with the other three guys. I did get to talk to John for a second. I own a construction company, and my husband and me do. And I've been in this role for a while. So I watch Farmhouse Fixer on not just like a fan level, but also on like a business level. And I've gotten some pretty cool ideas from his show. So I was able to like tell him, I felt bad because it was like, I love your show. Oh my God. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just like vomited words, but I had been drinking a little bit, and I was so excited. And
Yeah.
and they're used to it. So,
Yeah.
the fan, it wasn't like I was just like, oh, I just love your show. I just want to tell you, I'm a construction company. And he was actually taping Rock Those Block in Colorado around that time. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So you survived the cruise. You had all
Yeah.
the wonderful adventures on the cruise. What happened after?
I was like, I will be on every cruise after this. I will travel more to see them because I love to travel. And I'm like, I'm going to start utilizing New Kid stuff to travel more. I will like plan it to go see. And I just came off that cruise and it lit. Before the cruise in my personal life, it wasn't that it was a lot of bad stuff. I was just drained and kind of my light had I just how I explained my light had kind of burnt out before the cruise, and that cruise lit my flame back up,
Yeah.
and I was ready to hit back. Like I was struggling to get my business like to do with my business, like doing the work. I was struggling with just everything. I'm ahead of a PTA. I have a daughter, she's 8, and then I have 2 bonus kids, and then just like kind of a little bit depressed, I guess you could say. And that cruise just lit me back up and reminded me that lit that fire that I needed, that I have inside me, that it hadn't been burnt out for long, but I needed a reminder, and just really got me back to my place of just like living in a daily place of gratitude for life I live.
Yeah.
Especially Donnie, man, Donnie's he's if you need inspiration, you go to Donnie.
Yeah,
He's something else.
he really is. He
He
really
really
is.
is. He really
No, he
is. So
really
I
is because I was a Joey girl when I was younger, and by 2014, I turned to Donnie because of an experience that I had with
yeah.
him, and you can't help it.
Yeah, and I gave each of them has their own special, unique thing about their personality that I love them all. I don't even say I'm a whatchamacallit girl like a Donnie or John or I love them all. And like Joey, he's funny. He during the game show, I was rolling laughing. He is funny. I don't know if it's him just put on a show. And then like Jordan's funny too, but like it's like that. He doesn't try. He just naturally it just comes out and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I don't even think he realizes he's yeah.
Oh my God, especially on the game show, and these could be so mean, but in a funny way, and it's so
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he had me cracking up.
He,
So
he
yeah, no, he did. Did you do any of the pre-parties before the cruise when you was in Miami?
We did. So we stayed at a place in South Beach where a bunch of people were staying, and they had a club outside. I can't remember the name. And there were a bunch of people there. And leading up to the cruise, Robin had and Shannon both had kind of been like, "Oh, I have a friend I know I want you to meet," and like befriended us on Facebook. Like, here's them, befriend them on Facebook. So I was looking forward to meeting some of these people in person that were on my friends list that I didn't really talk to a lot. So I met a ton of people briefly at that party. There was a ton of girls. And then also we stayed, a couple other girls that first night stayed with us in our hotel, and I just hit it off with them as well. One of them was from Colorado. Her name's Saki, and me and her hit it off, and we've seen each other since
Mhm.
the cruise. And we also went to I think it was Miss Joyce. It was her karaoke birthday party because Robin's friends with her, and so we all went down to that. That was fun. It was I got to talk to a few people. It was a little loud, so we were just dancing. Really, just dancing with whoever was around me at that, and yeah,
Yeah, I mean everything that happened on that cruise was amazing. It was Law's birthday, and then he
yeah.
had
I met him the first day at the party. I ran across him on the ship a few times, but everybody knows Law. But I got to meet him like the very first day we were in Miami. He was at that first little gathering. So
yeah, I believe it's the same one I was at. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yes, at the South Beach bar or something. Is outside. It was a pretty cool place. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Awesome. So then your plans are now to go to like every cruise possible.
Yeah, I went and saw Joey at the Bourbon Room in LA at around Christmas and met even more Blockhead friends there that I had connected with beforehand. I went by myself to that show because my mom lives out there. And so me and my daughter went and visited, and my daughter just stayed with her. I felt that was more not I didn't know if she would enjoy it at that. I thought that was a little more intimate. I got to do the meet and greet with Joey. That was cool. So I call that my Joey selfie, even though it's not a selfie, but there's my one-on-one picture with Joe. And seeing him by himself, and and then and that in that setting was awesome. And then just went to New York City for his other show, and then we got the surprise of all five guys, and that was just fantastic. His show at Bourbon Room and at Carnegie were a little different, and I did enjoy that he did a little more Broadway at his Carnegie show compared to his one at the Bourbon Room. But it was cool. That was an awesome experience, and I am going to the rodeo in March, so with
Oh,
another friend. Yes.
see, that's the other thing. Like before New Kids, I myself never traveled. I've never gotten on a plane. I've
Oh,
never
I love to
been on
travel.
a cruise. All
Oh,
of
I
that.
love to travel.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so 2014 was the one and only time that
Uh-huh.
they did a cruise from New York City, where I'm from,
Yes.
and I
Yep.
went on that cruise. That was my first time ever leaving New York
New York. Oh my gosh.
or being on a cruise. Then in 2017, it was the first time I got on a plane to go to New Orleans
Okay.
for that cruise.
And
So because of them,
yeah, yeah,
I've
you're
traveled.
traveling.
Now I
Yeah.
went to Miami. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. So I travel. I love to travel anyways. But this has given me, so New York City, I've always wanted to go there. My husband has too. That was a trip he was able to take with me. We got to not just do for the show, but it was we loved New York City. I wouldn't like want to live there because I do love my suburb life, but loved New York City. We had such a great time. And I'm like, thanks to, like, I probably wouldn't have planned on just going to New York City in the middle of January if it wouldn't have been for Joey being there, honestly, because I was like, it's cold there. I
yeah,
live somewhere cold. So colder, and but we went and we had a great time, and he enjoyed it too. He likes the new kids, and like I'll show up at the job site and they'll be playing. It's not, he's not I'm pulling him. He wants to, we're talking about him coming on the cruise too. He'd have a good time because he likes to party. He's a fun time. He had a blast at the after parties after Joey's show in New
yeah.
York. And he loves all the people he met. But I travel. I've been to Australia. That's the furthest I've traveled, and I love to travel. I want to see the world. So having more reasons to go places now, like that boost because of new kids, is just a bonus.
It
And
is.
all of it. Mhm.
Well, so I'm gonna say what I say on every show. I am not affiliated with New Kids
Mhm.
Wahlburgers or anything like
Mhm.
that. However, if they do see this video, what is your personal message to the guys?
Just like, I know Donnie says don't say thank you, but I have to say thank you. Like, I'm just so grateful for them and them giving us their time and giving so much of themselves to the fans and what they put into um, making creative music and just bringing us joy and bringing us together. It's what they're doing. They are five beautiful souls that are just the world is lucky to have them. All five of them. We really are. The whole world is, and they're just beautiful humans, and so grateful for them.
Yay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for being on my show.
Thank
I love
you for
your
having me.
story. Yeah, for sharing your story with us, and the rest of you,
Yeah.
you already know what to do. Hit your
Yeah.
girl up if you want to be on the show. Okay. Until then, you got to do this with me, girl. Stay
Yep.
safe, stay
That happened.
humble, and as always, stay
Thanks.
fly.
Fabulous. Thanks,
Love
Raven.
you guys. Until next time. Mwah.
Bye, guys.